just society because of it. And I think gay marriage should go the same way.
All right, now we'll move on to closing statements. First, beginning with the Democrats and the Republicans, 5 minutes each.
Pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to once again thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank my venerable opponent. In closing this discussion, I ask a question not only of my opponents, but of the general audience as well. In 25 years, will this all be a thing of the past? Does anyone here really believe that in 25 years, marriage equality will not be as accepted as racial equality or gender equality? The voices of bigotry, which so loudly opposed integration and women's suffrage, does anyone here believe that those same people will triumph now in their attempt to squash the civil rights of another vulnerable minority? I think not. The arguments that we heard today, whether they be the constitutionality of gay marriage versus civil unions, federal authority versus state authority, popular referendums versus federal judges, are almost inconsequential in the larger context. When mulling on this issue, the one question that is important is this: what is right? What is right? Is it right to discriminate against an entire class of people simply because of an immutable facet like sexual orientation? As a society, we have settled the debate over whether it is right to discriminate against other immutable qualities like gender or race. Yet for some reason, sexual orientation is different. For some reason, that issue remains unsettled. This is something I do not understand. My opponents, and the party they represent, have attempted to justify this inequity, but I am unconvinced. What compelling state interest could there be so urgent as to necessitate the deprivation of marriage equality? Production of children? To what noble end does the state deny this right? I draw a blank. We know it's not a states' rights issue. We know that, just as Jim Crow was not a states' rights issue. We know it's not an issue of child welfare, since gay parenting has been endorsed by virtually the entire medical community, except perhaps Dr. James Dobson. We know it's not an issue of popular sovereignty because the civil rights of other minorities have never been subject to a popular vote. And we know it's not an issue of weakening heterosexual marriage, since no shred of credible evidence has ever been produced to support that assertion. So what are we left with? Perhaps our opponents fear the unchecked proliferation of happy and committed families. Perhaps they fear the ominous specter of fewer children in foster homes. As my opponents have only resorted to arguments that were debunked long before this debate, I am left only with questions, and frankly a little saddened. Former Chief Justice Warren Burger wrote that marriage was a basic civil right of man. As far as I'm concerned, if that's the case, then total marriage equality is not only inevitable, but nothing short of a moral imperative. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.